you know, that somebody would go to those lengths to start a thread that began with, I hate this woman, she's boring, monotonous, unfunny, and motherfucking ugly for a broadcaster.
I was asked to, step aside and have a male do my role so that the person I was working with would be comfortable.
As we age, our wisdom would make a person even more attractive, but broadcasting sometimes is just a veneer of what our ideal might be.
With this job, I barely go out, Like, I'm working every Friday, Saturday night, and I'm not complaining that I am. It's just that, how am I ever going to meet anybody, you know what I mean?
Appearances, if not the most important thing, but the second most important thing. You can know all you want about sports, but if you're not pleasing to the eye, and of course the demographic is generally male, you might want to think twice. That's unfair. However, that's just the way it works, and it's unfortunate.
Women get fast-tracked, more than men. There's women on air right now who don't have the experience or the credentials that other men have who were passed over for that job in favor of a woman. And that's just the way it is, because every network right now wants one or two attractive women to be on air. The only problem with being a on-air female broadcaster is sometimes they can be real flash in the pans. They don't have the longevity that some of the men do, and it's not their fault either. Like, some of them are excellent, but because they're not as cute as they were 5 years ago, they kind of get passed aside. So I think some of the women definitely feel like they face some discrimination, and some of it is because they did get their job in a way that was easier than other men.
First from behind, watch the Russian judge's foot, and again from the front, eye contact and possible nodding. It's unclear whether the results were affected last night, but what is clear is the intent. There's a process for penalizing judges through suspension, but there is no process for skaters who've lost a championship because of unfair marking. If a country...
As we age, our wisdom, for want of a better word, is, I think, greater. Our experience certainly greater, our life experience much greater. So you would think that kind of information, as it sort of exudes out of your skin, would make a person even more attractive. But broadcasting sometimes is just a veneer of what our ideal might be.
At the end of the day, TV is a visual medium, and I just think that they want everyone to have a polished look, be you male or female. Are they a little bit more forgiving with men? Of course. It's funny because when I was in college, we actually had this huge discussion about how many women over the age of 50 in sports do you see on the air? How many men over the age of 50 do you see on the air in sports? So hopefully that'll change part of the game.
The Carolina Hurricanes, you won the Cup with them in 2006, and you see what they're going through this year. How do you deal with that, like the emotions of a letdown?
When your work is good, nobody believes that you're writing your own questions or that you're coming up with your own answers. And then when your work is bad, they say, see, she doesn't know what she's talking about. So you can never win. If you're good, someone else is coming up with your material. If you're bad, it confirms that women shouldn't be in the industry. So I think that's the biggest misconception of women in the industry. And also the biggest misconception is that you can't be a sports reporter or host or analyst in any way unless you've actually played that sport. And that's where there can be some huge misconceptions, because there's a lot of men in this industry who've never played hockey, who have never played basketball, who have never played soccer, yet they're really good. But they're given a chance because they're men. But the minute you see a woman talk, you just automatically disregard and say, oh, of course she's never played, so she can't know what she's talking about.
Oh man, it was almost there. Began with their typical strength in the throw triple loop. It's seamless, effortless. There is softness and exquisite position on the landing. We thought the worry was the side-by-side triple toes.
Some women in my opinion, make the mistake of trying to be a male version of a female broadcaster. Well, just because you know a sport really well does not necessarily mean you'll make a great analyst.
Some people have it. Some people have to work harder for it than others. So do I think that just by having an expertise in sport, does it make you a great broadcaster? No, just like being a great athlete doesn't make you a great coach. I remember a friend who Googled me on Facebook, bringing my attention to a rant, that somebody would go to those links to start a thread that began with, I hate this woman, she's boring, monotonous, unfunny, and motherfucking ugly for a broadcaster. I know kids at journalism school that could do laps around this fucking cunt. Someone should man up and impregnate her to get her off the air. They do that to diminish you and to make you less threatening. And I'm not saying that, that everybody thinks like that, but unfortunately, I think there are too many people that are running networks that are taking the easy way out. And the unfortunate thing is people love this kind of stuff, and that's the stuff they click on. You have to get used to the fact that you are going to have people who are going to attack. They're going to attack you professionally, they're going to attack you personally. And coming to terms with that was not a bad thing for me because it helped me prioritize my values and what I wanted to do as a professional.